Has Elon Musk crossed the line with his tweet last weekend, which he had to delete? And if not, how close is he and why this is actually important? Let's talk about it coming up next.
Taking over the world, electrifying the world, electric.
Welcome to those of you who are watching me on Patreon, and of course if you're watching me on YouTube and you want to stay up to date on everything that's going on in the world of electric cars, click on that subscribe button so you don't miss anything moving forward. And before I start, let me just do one more thing. I know I do this usually at the end of the show. I recognize one of the new Patreons, but a lot of you guys have been joining. Just want to catch up on that and recognize you guys right up front. First of all, thank you to Bill Walsh, who just became a Patreon last week. Dean G. Hancock, J. Hancock, middle initial, probably a doctor or an attorney, maybe. Next one is Ernie Roland. Thank you so much for becoming a Patreon. Rodrigo Silva, and last but not least, Rory Litwin. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show, and this is obviously important for many reasons, but once again, if you want to support me as well, patreon.com/E4Electric, that's where, and I stream live to you guys as a perk as well. All right, let's get on with the show. And God, I wish I didn't have to talk about this, and yet I find myself coming back over and over and over again to this. But so Elon Musk, as you know, is once again involved himself in the controversy. As you know, there was a Thai youth soccer team with their coach trapped in a cave, and it took a really long time to rescue them through some of the water tunnels and caves. Elon offered to help and sent his own team, and they've come up with a little mini submarine. They ended up not using it. I don't know why, but one of the divers I think he's a British diver who lives in Thailand. Basically, after it was all said and done, decided to attack Elon and go after him, saying that that mini submarine was crap and all that stuff. Now, that didn't make that much of a splash, to be honest with you, until Elon decided to reply and go after the guy. And the problem is he didn't just go after him, he also called him a pedo guy. And, obviously even Elon thought that wasn't appropriate, and he deleted this tweet. You won't find that tweet anymore on his Twitter account. But here's the thing. That made more news, and now there's more news because the guy is suing him. I'm assuming for defamation of character, and he might actually have the case, right? But this is, and people ask, well, why do you talk about all this drama on Twitter? Like, here's why, guys. Here's why. I mean, let's just set aside the fact that Elon is calling people's names all the time lately, and it's just maybe not a good presence for the company, for himself. But he's also, either crossing the line or very close to crossing the line. And here's why I'm concerned. Here's why we should all be concerned if we are rooting for the electric car movement. Love him or hate him, and it's been kind of tough to love him lately. I have to admit, I've had a lot of internal struggle about this, but he is by far the undisputed leader of this movement. He's not just a celebrity. He's not just a CEO of Tesla. He literally is just the only guy pretty much who's out there. He is the front man for the entire electric car movement. Okay, there's nobody even close. If something happens to him, that may be a really tough break for Tesla, and therefore all of us in the electric car movement. Think of Steve Jobs, right? Something happened to him, and Apple was never the same. Yes, they continue going because they've gotten pretty far with him. I'm not sure if Tesla is there, but as you can see, it definitely slowed the company down big time. Some people believe it stopped innovating. Here's the thing. There is a way to cross a line, and I'm just going to give you a very extreme example how this can actually happen. If Elon has ever either accused or with some proof that he did some inappropriate touching or whatever, sexual harassment, and there's some proof, there's some girl he came out, right? And the whole Me Too movement would be activated. This means death, pretty much, for, we've seen a lot of CEOs, have seen a lot of celebrities. This is the end of their career, and Elon is not bulletproof. So something like this can bring him down, and therefore the rest of the company and maybe the movement potentially, right? Now, I'm just giving you this as a major example, but here's the thing. He's getting closer and closer to crossing that line. I mean, calling a guy pedophile is out of line. At some point, if he gets there, this is where the entire industry and the company and the movement and the community will suffer greatly, and there will be nobody to replace him with. So for the sake of this, for all of us, I really wish he would stop. I really wish, and by the way, think about that, how short-lived this story would have been, right? And who cares? Some diver guy decided to attack a billionaire who launches the rockets to Mars. Who cares? Let it go. Let it go. Otherwise, see how the story has gone and on and on. I wasn't even going to cover it. But now that we've gone so far, now I'm covering somebody who's really trying to stay away from this. And this is how it blows up. There's a PR department for that. You have to hire a PR department and get them to do their job. And I am really concerned that this can end really badly sometime in the near future. So let me know in the comment section if you guys agree with me, and if so, let me know what would be the next step for him. Recovery, PR department hiring, let me know. All right, there are actually quite a few other actual stories that I wanted to cover. Before that, of course, I want to remind you guys that Evanex is the sponsor of this video and of this channel. So thank you to them for supporting the show. If you want to shop there and save yourselves a few bucks, there's a discount code in the description of this video. All right, let's move on to the next story. As you know, last week I reported that there were some changes in tax rebates, especially for Tesla, in the province of Ontario in Canada. The new guy, Doug Ford, took over, and they almost immediately canceled the rebates for electric cars, which was pretty hefty. But here's the thing. Apparently, and this is from their, I think, Department of Ontario's Transportation. They're basically saying if you've ordered your Tesla, meaning you kind of created a contract with Tesla, you can't back out of it, but your car hasn't been delivered to you, you're not going to get that credit. And even though they're saying if you would have ordered it through a dealership, pretty much the same situation, you would have still had this credit honor. So they're really kind of setting Tesla aside, which is true. They are not a dealership, and they've decided to go their own direct sales route. But it just sounds like they're really targeting them, and a lot of people are unhappy. I hope there will be maybe a class action suit there. I don't know how Ontario's legal system works, and this is on, or maybe some sort of protest, because this is almost on purpose. It feels almost on purpose. So let me know if you live somewhere near there, and if there's maybe some local internal movements, things that are happening, and maybe we can feature that on the show to help you guys out, because this is definitely BS. All right, let's talk about Model 3. As we know, there is no safety ratings, official safety ratings, so we're kind of relying on seeing what happens to these cars when they get in a major car accident. I featured one a while back, but here's one that was published on Reddit by Staple Gun, the username of the guy, and he said that his wife got into a pretty bad rollover accident, and this is their Model 3. Luckily, it looks like she'll be okay. She had to go to a hospital for a few hours, but it looks like she'll be okay. And of course, I wish her the best in her recovery. But this is the first rollover, from what I understand, of the Model 3, and it's in a pretty good shape. Let me show you. Let me show you the full picture. As you can see outside, I mean, it's pretty banged up, but at the same time, I don't see any cave. It did not really, cave in on the roof or in the front of the car. But check this one out. This is from the inside of the car. I mean, look. First of all, the screen didn't even shatter, but look how basically protected and pretty much whole the inside is. This is amazing. This is good sign. Now, of course, it's been a year since the Model 3 went into production. I really think they really need to hurry up with testing. Of course, I would be waiting for the Institute of Highway Safety rating and an estimation of how safe this car is. I know they strive for a 5-star rating, as they get for Model S and Model X. Let's hope so, but it's time to get it done, guys. Let's time to get it done. But good. I mean, and it's unfortunate accident, of course, but it's a good indication that this car is going to be very, very safe. Let's move on to Europe, and for the Goodwood Hill Climb that they, I mean, Goodwood was a big festival, and then, you know, Tesla Model 3 was the first, made its first appearance in Europe, but they also had this hill climb race, and they had 2 electric cars competing there. One was a Neo EP9. It hasn't been in the news for a while, but it's kind of a electric hypercar. Another one, this one, you're familiar with it. It's the Volkswagen Pikes Peaks ID R, and as you know, it set a record and won the Pikes Peaks race just the other week, and now it's back here. And guess what? These 2 electric cars that participated, they got the top 2 spots, which is great. Now, I know none of us are going to drive any of these cars. This is kind of a fantasy land and entertainment. But my point here, the reason I feature this stories all the time is because, or when I can, when this happens, is because this shows that the performance of electric cars is now consistently beating the performance of gas engine cars. As a matter of fact, I just did a video, which I'll post on Wednesday, where I compare electric cars to gas cars. And one thing that I didn't really cover there, maybe I'll do a separate video for that, is the performance. The performance of electric cars is beating the performance of gas cars. And now we're talking about, you know, professional racing, and this is yet another great, glorious example of that. All right, and the last story is of the day, and then we're gonna go to a comment of the day, is about the Tesla superchargers. You know, it's free for Model S, Model X buyers if they buy those through a referral code, which pretty much everybody does. It was supposed to expire a couple days ago, and they've decided to prolong it for 2 more weeks, and as a part of the whole referral program. So I would expect that they extend it again, as they've been doing it, but nevertheless, it's good to know that they've actually officially extended it. So that's where we at with the news. Now I'm going to move on to the comment of the day. And as I'm talking to you, I realize I forgot to set this graphic, but the comment of the day is going to be about my interview with the Congressman Welch, a sitting congressman that I had on the show on Saturday. If you didn't see it, it's right there as a featured video on my channel. Rarely I get to interview congressmen here on the show, but this is the guy responsible for introducing the bill to pretty much save the $7,500 tax rebate for Tesla, Chevy, and many other manufacturers that will be crossing the 200,000 car cap on that. Tesla already going to have its tax rebate phased out in the next year. So I had a conversation with him, and this comment of the day is about that. And there are a lot of similar comments, so let me go ahead and read it. This is from Derek Ash. He says, "I'm surprised that this did not fix the biggest flaw of the current bill, which is that it didn't have a cap on a dollar amount. The whole point is to make EVs more affordable so people switch over from their gas and diesel cars." And he goes on to saying how, you know, rich people shouldn't get this rebate because they don't really need it. Okay, so disagree majorly with almost everything you said, but this is why, you know, my comment section is an open forum for all of us to discuss it. So let me reply to you publicly. First of all, thank you for being part of the discussion, even though we don't agree. But here's my point of view. First of all, I think people don't realize how this rebate works. People think that it's the rebate is just kind of people taking other people's tax money. Well, it's not true. The $7,500 rebate works very simply. It is your own money that you already were going to already have paid in federal taxes yourself. So you're just getting a rebate from your own tax contributions. This is not going from anywhere else. So this is number one. This is not coming. This is not other people paying for your tax rebate. You're just getting a break because you are you bought a green energy car that's not poisoning everybody with its fumes. Just like you get tax breaks on many different things, including having kids or owning a house and so forth. This is kind of like that. Nobody says that other people are paying for your kids. Right, when you get deductions on your tax return. So that's number one. It's very important. Secondly, I disagree that somehow rich people don't need the tax return. First of all, again, this is still their money. And as a matter of fact, rich people pay more of taxes than most of us, right? So if anything, they should be the first in line to get some of it back, especially when it's their own money, right? So I think it would be unfair there. Now, there are also people like me, and I know a lot of people like me. I'm not a rich guy. you know, to me, having a Tesla, I have two, is really a stretch of my budget. I really wanted to contribute. I really wanted to be an owner. I really wanted to have an experience because I do the show. I know some YouTubers or whatever, they don't own Teslas and they talk about Teslas all the time. But you know, to me, it's part of experience. This is why one of the reasons I'm actually going to buy a plug-in hybrid as my commuter car. I want to experience that at this point and kind of be on both ends of the spectrum of electric car ownership. And so yeah, to me that makes a big difference, especially now that Teslas have gone up. As I'm shopping for my next Tesla, and I posted a video about it yesterday because I'm still not sure. You know, this would really help. Let me know what you think. I'll be happy to hear back from you, Derek, and from the rest of us, but we really need to understand how this works and that not all Tesla Model S owners are just rich people. And by the way, here in Silicon Valley, being able to afford this car is really not a big of a deal because our prices for housing prices are so high that our salaries are properly high to that just so we can live here. And therefore buying an 80,000 car is not as big of a deal as maybe in the rest of the world. So, you know, a lot of us are not really rich, and $7,500 of our own money coming back in our pocket would definitely help. Anyway, don't forget to watch this interview that I had with a congressman. We also explained to you guys how to help. The description of that video has that information as well. All right, well, that was a lot to go through, but nevertheless, that is it for me. See you guys tomorrow, and of course, remember to stay charged.